Hey, what's going on, guys? Coming at you with a brand new deck profile, and today I'll be showing you guys my Electro Magnet Warriors. So quick shout out to Dylan Hurst. It was actually him playing this deck a couple weeks ago at Locals that actually inspired me to build this deck. When I looked into it, I liked the fact that, you could go into rank freeze, some unique rank freeze for rock-type monsters like Gorgonic Guardian and Soul Silver Mountain. But the big thing that attracted me was its fusion, which I'll get into in deck profile. But basically, it's like a fusion version of Quasar that only requires 2 fusion materials, and the way it works with being able to float and bring out its 2 materials from hand or deck when it leaves the field just synergizes really well with one of my all-time favorite cards, Fusion Gate. So all in all, those elements of the deck together just blended nicely to be a deck that I really wanted to build, especially since the Yugi decks are going pretty cheap right now. And it is a pretty cheap and fun alternative to ABCs if you didn't get the structure decks initially. And a lot of stores right now are charging like $15 to $20 for them. Plus some of the other key elements of the deck, obviously like Solemn Strikes, Pot of Desires, even like Tsukiyomis and Diamond Direwolves are going pretty high right now. Ghostrick Winter Cherries as well. So if you're not able to afford all that to play competitively, then Magnet Warriors is a pretty decent alternative that actually can give ABCs a run for their money. So starting off with the Magna Warrior monsters, we have the free Electro Berserkion, the Electro Magna Warrior. This is basically the new version of Valkyrion. Kind of works like ABC Dragon Buster, where you have to special summon it by banishing the new Alpha, Beta, and Gamma from your hand, field, or graveyard. And then with its effect, it works like a Dark Arm Dragon, where you can banish one of your Magna Warrior monsters from your graveyard, your Magnet Warriors from the graveyard, and destroy a card on the field, and that's not once per turn. So this can be a pretty decent card to summon. Can really blow up some pretty big boards, but mostly it's here as a fusion material for your Imperion, the superconductive battle bot. Then for other material, we have the free Valkyrion. This is not a card that we're really ever going to summon because I actually do not play the vanillas required for him, the original Alpha, Beta, and Gamma. Granted, they are pretty decent for the fact that you can float from the new Magna Warriors into them on the opponent's turn, but it unfortunately doesn't really do anything. The cards are really dead in your hand, and they're level 4, so they don't really float the deck that well. But this card will become a lot better once Delta, the Electromagnet Warrior, comes out. Because, well, it is level 4, but it has a Foolish Burial-like effect that you can use on your opponent's turn with the other Magnet Warriors. And then it has an effect when it dies to where you can banish the Alpha, Beta, and Gamma, the new ones, to summon out Valkyrion from deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. So once that comes out, Valkyrion will be a lot better of a card, but for now it's just here as a fusion material. Then starting us off with the new Electromagnet Warriors, we have the free Alpha, the 2 Beta, and then finally the 1 Gamma. This deck was more focused on the rank-free engine and just the Electromagnet Warriors themselves. I would be playing more of these, like free Beta and 2 to free Gamma, but this build is more focused on making Imperion as fast as possible. So the free Alpha, when it's no more special summon, you get to add one of your Magna Warrior monsters from your deck to your hand, so either Valkyrion or Berserkion. With Beta, when it's no more special summon, you get to add one of your level 4 lower Magnet Warriors from your deck to your hand, so either Alpha or Gamma. And then Gamma, when it's no more special summon, you get to special summon one of your other Magnet Warrior monsters from your hand. So I did the 3-2-1 ratio because Alpha at free is really good for getting one of your materials. Beta is decent for searching one of your other 2 Magnet Warriors. And then Gamma's okay when it comes up, to get an extra summon. But you have to have one of your other Magnet Warriors, which even when I was playing a higher ratio of these cards, I would kind of have a hard time drawing multiples, even sometimes drawing one of the Magnet Warriors. Next we have the 2 Gorgonic Guardian. This is just an extra way to put a rank 3 on board. Basically, when you normal summon a rock monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, so it's a free level 3 rock monster on board that can help you go into things like Gorgonic Guardian and other rank 3s. Next we have the 1 Sentry Soldier Stone. A lot of builds are playing 2, but you really only need a 1 because it has an effect in the graveyard to where if you control rock monster, you can special summon this from the graveyard, but it's only once per turn, so drawing multiples of this is kind of bad. Having multiples in the graveyard isn't that great, so that's why I personally only play the 1. Next, since we're playing Brilliant Fusion, I am playing the free Gem-Knight Obsidian. I was considering only playing the one, but I was having a lot of times in doing test hands where I would dead draw it, and then my Brilliant Fusion would be dead. Plus, this card actually isn't nearly as dead as most of the other like Gem-Knight cards that are fused into Brilliant Fusion decks, for example. Because this is a level 3 rock monster that synergizes with things like Sentry, Soldier of Stone, like the Gorgonic Gargoyle, and that Magnetic Field as well. So overall, it's not a bad card, but mostly just here for the Brilliant Fusion. Then for the final monster, we have the 2 Maxx. Starting us off with the spells, we have one of the main reasons I wanted to play this deck, the free Fusion Gate. The last time I was actually able to play these in a deck was, I believe, my Blaze Phoenix OTK deck, and that was a pretty long time ago. So it is nice to have these babies back, because I did miss them a lot. But Fusion Gate's really good. I like it over Polymerization, because with Imperion's effect, if it leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, you special summon the 2 fusion materials from hand or deck. And then if you have a Fusion Gate face-up already on the field, you can just refuse into another Imperion. So that's personally why I like it. Plus, you're already playing Terraformings anyway with the new field spell, Magnetic Field, so it just kind of works out nicely. Speaking of Magnetic Field, we have only the one Magnetic Field. Granted, this is a really good card. Basically, a monster reborn for Electromagnet Warriors. If you control a level 4 or lower rock monster, you can special summon one of your Magnet Warrior monsters from your graveyard, and then any of your rock monsters, when they battle an opponent's monster, it turns them into like a Neospatian Grand Mole. But I am playing free Terraforming, as you can see here, so I can pretty easily search this card, and I really only ever need more than one. I mostly just wanted to play the 3rd Fusion Gate over this, just to be able to see it more often, to be able to make Imperion. Next, with the free Fusion Conscription, what this does is you reveal a fusion monster in your extra deck, and then add one of its materials from your deck to your hand, deck or graveyard to your hand. And then for the rest of the turn, you can't summon that monster or use that monster, but that's pretty irrelevant since you're just wanting to get one of your materials in hand to be able to summon out Imperion. Next, we have the free Brilliant Fusion. Really works well with this deck. As I said, if you dead draw Obsidian, it's not nearly as much of a dead draw as, say, a Garnet is for most decks. Also, it just can get your your Sentry of Stone in graveyard to come back. You can put one of your Magnet Warriors in the graveyard to bring back off a Magnetic Field. Just has a lot of really nice plays. And then the Zirconia, being a rock monster, kind of blends well with Magnetic Field, and being a level 8 as well. You can potentially go into a rank 8 with like it and Berserkion. So overall, Brilliant Fusion is just really good. Then for the final spell, we have the 1 Upstart Goblin. So starting off with the traps, we have the triple Rivalry the Warlords. Really good in this deck, since all your main deck monsters you're going to summon are rock type monsters, and most of your main monsters in the extra deck are rock type monsters like Imperion, Gorgonic Guardian, Soul of Silver Mountain, the Gem-Knight Zirconia. So you really don't, you're not hindered too much by Rivalry the Warlords, and this card just really puts a damper on a lot of the decks right now. Can completely shut down their ABC plays, since they need to go into a rank 4 before going into ABC Dragon Buster. Can also shut down the Pendulum matchups like Metal Foes and Magic Specters, well, some Magic Spectre matchups. Blue Eyes, if they summon like their Sage and you flip this, they pretty much have to end their turn. So overall, Rivalry is just really good. And it also is an anti-Kaiju card, which can be really good at keeping your Imperion on board. Next, to round out the main deck, we have the Solemn Quartet of the triple Solemn Strikes and Solemn Warning. If you can't afford the Solemn Strikes right now, which I believe are at around $35, you could easily replace them with Fiendish Chains, which just got reprinted in the Kaiba Structure deck, Breakthrough Skills, Effect Veilers, whatever you want. But Solemn Strike is the best option if you do have them. So that's it for the main deck. Total of 40 cards. I believe it is 19 monsters, 14 spells, and 7 traps. Now on to the extra deck. So starting us off, we have the 2 Imperion Magnum, the Superconductive Battlebot. This requires Berserkion and Valkyrion to make. As I said, it's like a fusion version of Quasar. Whenever a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, you can negate that effect once per turn, destroy it. And as I said, if it leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, which unfortunately doesn't count battle, so it's not quite as good as Quasar in that aspect. But when it leaves the field by opponent's card effect, you can special summon out Valkyrion and Berserkion from your hand or deck. So it floats from a 4,000 monster into 2 monsters that combine into 6,500 attack. So that actually can come up to get you the extra damage you need for games sometimes when your opponent thinks that they can actually get over this. Next with the 2 Zirconia, I decided to put in 2 since I do have the 2 Obsidian, and the second one can come up. Zirconia just in general is a nice beefy 2900 rock monster. That of course is if you have a spell discard off a Brilliant Fusion to make it 2900, but yeah, it's just here for the Brilliant Fusion plays. And also sometimes for the rank 8 play. Next we had the 2 Gorgonic Guardian. I was highly considering playing 3, but really couldn't find the space in the extra deck. This is probably the best rank 3 out there in my opinion, just overall, but it does require 2 level 3 rock monsters. Basically during either player's turn, you can detach and Xyz material to target a monster your opponent controls, negate its effects, and its attack becomes 0. The interesting thing to note about it is it can actually activate during the damage steps, and it does modify attack points. So that is something that opposing players can sometimes forget about Gorgonic Guardian or not even know about it. And also, once per turn on your turn, you can destroy a monster on the field whose attack became 0 by Gorgonic Guardian's effect. So it has effect negation and destruction built in all into one nice, neat package. Then we have the 1 Soul of Silver Mountain, another extra deck rock target. Basically works like a Night Beam to where you can detach one and then target one of your opponent's face down spawn traps, and it can't be used while this card is face up on the field. So it can be kind of decent for hitting mirror forces and such. And then if it destroys a monster by battle, you can special summon an Earth monster from your graveyard, which can be pretty neat for bringing back your Magnet Warriors, or even sometimes bringing back a Berserkion engraved that was properly summoned first. Then starting us off with rank 3s, we have the 1 Dante. Would be a great Cherries target if you play Cherries, but overall it's still a pretty decent rank 3 for being 2500 attack, milling free, and maybe getting one of your Magnet Warriors you need in graveyard. The 1 Ghostrick Alucard, which would be a Breaksword if I didn't own it, but Alucard still is pretty decent for popping set cards. The 1 Leviair for bringing back banished Magnet Warriors. The 1 Mechquipped Angineer, actually a really nice card to make alongside Imperion if you're fearing them being able to make like a 4,000 attack monster, or say a Utopia the Lightning that could beat over your Imperion. You can make Mechquipped Angineer alongside of it to be able to protect it from battle and keep it on board longer. Then we have the 1 Acid Golem if we need a big beater. The 1 Nightmare Shark for poking directly. The 1 Grampulse for destroying back row. And then finally for the rank 8 play, we have the 1 number 38 Hope Harbringer. It does come up sometimes if you have a Zirconia and Berserkion on board. Either one that you properly summoned or one that you summoned off of Imperion's effect. So now to wrap it up with the side deck. Excuse me. So starting us off, we had the 2 Kaiju, the 2 Gameciel, which is basically for tributing over annoying monsters, going second. The triple System Down for going second against ABCs. Triple Twin Twister for back row heavy decks. The 2 Swords of Concealing Light. It's actually a card that got a reprint as a common in the Yugi structure deck, which is pretty nice. Granted, Book of Eclipse is probably a little bit better, but this kind of does the same job. If you're using this on your turn, just flips everything face down, and then they can't change their battle positions. Also, doesn't give them the opponent the potential to actually draw cards like Book of Eclipse does. So that is one of the plus sides of Swords of Concealing over, say, Book of Eclipse. Next, with the 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance, basically going to be sided in anytime we're going first against most of the meta matchups out there that rely heavily on spells. Then for the final side deck card, we have the 3 Typhoon. Really good going second, against Anti-Spell Fragrance. Good against Pendulums for popping one of their scales. Just overall, really good card. So that's it for this brand new deck profile for Electromagnet Warriors. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.